We are recording for the lesson today. Oops. All right. What I want you guys to do is I'm going to flash those images. Let me mute everybody. Remember to stay on mute. I'm going to flash an image with some dots on it. And what I want you to do is see if you can see how many dots there are and give me a reason for why or how you see those dots, how you see that amount. Okay, it's going to be quick. I'm only going to flash it for about maybe 3 seconds. And I want you to tell me how many there are and how you see them. Okay, ready? Oops. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so write down on your paper how many you think there are. I'll show it again real fast if you didn't get a good glimpse. But I want you to try to tell me how many dots are there on the screen. Okay, I'll show it for 4 seconds this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, write down on your page how many dots you think are on there. I want you to tell me how you see them. Okay. Who wants to tell me how many dots are on the page? Christopher, go for it.
There are 15.
Okay, and how did you see them?
I saw them because I counted how many of them they are, and then I counted them. I draw them here in my paper, and then I counted it.
Okay, so you transferred it to your page then? You drew it in your page? Okay. Very good. Does someone else have another way that they did it? Christopher, can I ask you one more question real fast?
Yeah.
Did you just count all of them in whole, or did you go group by group?
Group by group, but I did it fast.
Okay, so you knew that there were 3 over here? And then did you just write down 3s all over?
Yeah.
Okay, and then with those 3s, what did you do?
Then I did the 3 little circles.
3 little circles? Okay, how did you go from these 3s here to 15? How did you count 1 by 1 by 1 all the way up to 15, or did you count by 3s up to 15? How did you do it?
Oh, I counted by ones.
Okay. That's a ones. Okay, thank you, Christopher. Does someone else want to share their strategy, what they did? Abisai, go for it. Welcome in.
It was that, so when I saw that, I decided to add the 3, 3, 3, 3 together. That makes 6, so 6 plus 6 is 12, and then add 3 more, then it's 15.
Okay, awesome. So let me change my color here. So Abisai, by the sounds of it, correct me if I'm wrong, but it almost sounds like you took, knowing that this right here was 3, or whichever one you were looking at, you knew that 3 plus this 3 right there gives you 6, and then you said, okay, this looks like a match over here. It looks like the same thing. There's 3 up here, and there's 3 down here, and 3 plus 3 is 6, and then there's these 3 here in the middle. So did you said you went 6 plus 6, so you took the big groups and equals 12, and then added in that 3 there. Did I explain that right? Is that how you did it?
Yes.
Very good thinking. Oops, sorry, I didn't realize I was cutting off down there. Very good thinking, Abisai. I love that. Were there any other strategies or ways that you guys did it? Or did you fall into one of those two categories for the most part? Natalie?
Oh, I accidentally put that on.
You did it a different way?
Yeah. I
Okay.
I just counted by ones like Christopher.
Okay, so you just went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 15?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good strategy. Very good, Natalie. We're going to do one more, and I want to make sure we have enough time to get to the next piece. So ignore all this scribble work up here. I'm going to show you another picture now, okay? So again, ignore what we just did. It's going to be a new picture with dots. I'll show it to you twice for about 3 or 4 seconds each, okay? Here we go. So the bottom one, the bottom box. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, write it down on your piece of paper, what you think. Okay, I'm gonna show it to you one more time. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, who wants to explain how they got their answer and how they saw it? Abasai, you want to go for it again? Okay, how many were there and how did you see it?
18. So how I saw it, it was so I saw those 2 6s that matched. So I added them up and added 12. But then I realized there was another 2 pairs of 6, and then I added the 6 to the 12, and that equaled 18.
Okay, so you kind of use what you did in the first one for that 6 and that 6 to group them together.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you said, okay, let's add these guys together and we get 12. But then you said, okay, well, there's this one here and that one here that we need to add to it as well. So now that we have the 12, let's group those two together and get 6. And then we can take this 6 there and that 12 there and add them together. Get 18. Is that the right? Did I hear you right?
Yes.
Awesome thinking. I love it. So it sounds like you used what you did in the first one. You can even see the pictures are very similar, where you group the 6 and group the 6. Oh, my light's turning off. So you used what you knew in the first one and helped you in the second.
Oh.
You guys see that? Very smart thinking, Abasai. Very smart. Were there any other strategies or ways that people saw this one? The bottom one. Jacob?
I did like the same, but I drew the dots, and then I was counting it. But I did kind of the same like outside.
Okay. So explain how you counted them.
Like I put all the dots all together, and then I was counting them 3 plus 3 plus equals 6, and 3 plus 3 equals 6, and I know that equals 12 plus 6 more equals 18.
Okay, great. So it was pretty similar to Abasai's, wasn't it? You grouped the bigger groups together to get 12 and then added the 6 to it to get 18. Very good thinking. Okay, one more. I thought I saw Juan's hand up. Juan, do you want to come off mute and share? Or do you have a question? Okay. Juan, if it comes back to you or you want to come off mute, then just raise your hand again and I'll call on you. So what we're going to do now is move on to the next activity. And what I would like you to do is look at A, rectangle A, ignore B, I see it's in the picture, but look at A and tell me, what is one way that you could describe that rectangle? How can you describe it? Think about those important things like rows and columns and maybe how many of each there are and how we can use that to explain or describe A. All right, Abasai, I see your hand. I'm going to hold off on calling at the moment. I want to get someone else in on this, but thank you. So how can we describe A? Think back to our rows and columns. How many rows are there? What is a row first? Can someone explain what a row is again? What is a row? Angel, I saw your hand up a little bit before that. Can you try answering that? What is a row or what is a column? Angel?
Mr. Ross.
Yes, who is that? Oh, is
I
that Nana?
can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Okay, I'll try talking a little louder. Or let's make sure we're all on mute. Maybe it's fuzzy. So, how can we describe A? How can we describe the rectangle A? We talked about rows and columns. Vanessa, how can we describe A?
I know the answer.
Okay, you know the area or what's inside?
Yeah.
Okay, what is it?
12.
It is 12. How did you get 12?
Because I counted all of them.
Okay, you counted the squares.
I made a little rectangle.
Nice, very good. So how can we look at the rows and the columns to help us find out the area of 12? What did we talk about yesterday? You remember?
No. Not quite.
No? Okay, Abasai, I'm going to you since your hand was up early. How can we describe this rectangle and how does it help us get an area of 12?
Well, there's two ways. You could either be counting by twos all the way because you can make it like this: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. But there's another way. You could also do rows and columns because it was because it's a 2 by 6. So if I say 2 times 6, it equals 12.
That was an amazing description, Abasai. Thank you. So he said first and foremost, I'll change to blue for the first thing he explained. Okay. He said at first that he can take he can take groups of 2. So you can cut it like this and see how there's 2 there and 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, 2 there. So you can count and go 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. 6 times, right? You can look at each of those groups of 2 and count up to get 12. But then he started talking about rows and columns, and I love those words that he used. He said, there are 2 rows, right? Remember, rows are left and right, like that. Columns are up and down. And he said there are 2 rows and 6 columns, and I know from yesterday that if I multiply them together, I get my answer. Right, you said it's a 2
2
by
by
6.
2 times 6 is 12.
It is. Thank you, Vanessa.
Uh-huh.
So that 2 by 6 that he said, that by up here at the top, 2 by 6, is another word or a substitute word for multiplication. So this rectangle, it has 2 rows and 6 columns. It's 2 by 6. So down here at the bottom, we can write 2 by 6 or 2 times 6, and we should know that to be 12. Would you agree? All right. Thank you, Vanessa, Jacob, and Abisai for being very involved in that. And Christopher, too. I can see Christopher paying attention. Not that others aren't, but they were standing out to me. Let's quickly look over at B and give it the same treatment. Okay, what is one way that we can describe B? I want to hear someone other than Abisai say that, because I know Abisai knows it. He described the last one perfectly. How can we describe B? Oops, ignore that one. Abasai over here in A said it was something like a number by something. Those are blanks there. Blank by blank. Rows by columns. Columns by rows. How many rows are there? I know it's a small picture. Christopher?
7.
So there are 7 columns. Remember, columns are up and down. They're going this way. Oops. So those are columns up and down, right? And there's 7 of them. How many rows are there?
6.
Oh. Angel, go for it.
There's 5. There's 5.
Okay, so 5 rows, 7 columns. So we can say, as Abisai did earlier, 5 by 7. Or you could even flip it around. Remember when we reviewed our multiplication and we said that we could flip it and it's still the same answer? So can someone tell me 7 times 5 or 5 times 7? What does that equal? What is 7 times 5? 7 times 5. We can skip count if we need to. We can count by 5s 7 times. Should we try that? Let's skip count. 1 5 is 5. If we count again, 10.
20. 15. 20. 30. 25. 30. 35.
Right. There's the first one, second one, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. So the 7th one on the bottom is 35 if we were to skip count.
35.
So can someone tell me what 35 means for this rectangle? How does that come into play? Is 35 just a random number? Or does it mean something for this rectangle? Any ideas? What are we trying to find? Perimeter, area, side length? What's the 35 tell us?
The area?
Is that you, Christopher, or Jacob? I can't, both of you talk at the same time.
Me.
You say area?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. It's the area, and the area is the stuff inside. So rather than counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way through, we can multiply 7 times 5, and it gives us everything in the middle. Kind of looks like a Pop-Tart. It gives us everything inside that Pop-Tart filling. When we take the columns times the rows, or the rows times the columns. So if I were to give you for homework something that looks like this, I'll actually just show you the homework. I was going to draw something for you. If I gave you something like this, it says you can use inch tiles to create a rectangle with an area that represents each expression. Unfortunately, we don't have inch tiles for you guys at this second, but you can use things around the house. You can use maybe little pennies, quarters, other money, small items that you can make rows and columns out of. But if I told you to use the grid to draw your rectangle, and I said draw something that was 3 times 4, how would I draw that? Jacob?
Put three lines down and 4 lines across.
Okay, just a second. Let me get down. I'm on my iPad and I'm trying to get there. So you said 3 lines down and 4 lines across?
Yeah, for both
So
sides.
something like this.
Yeah.
Does that look good to you?
Yeah.
Okay, there are 3, what are they called?
Columns.
Columns, very nice. And 4? Columns and... Can someone help him? Columns and... Christopher.
Rows.
Rows. So there are 3 columns and 4 rows. And look at, he pulled that straight from 3 times 4, or 3 by 4, to get the number of rows and columns. Now, question for you, Jacob. Could you have switched these around and had 3 rows and 4 columns? Right, you can.
Yes.
I see a little head nod there. Yeah, you can switch these around and it will still be the same rectangle, but just flatter and longer instead of thin and tall, right? Christopher, let's make sure that we're not changing our background too much. Find one and stick with it, okay? We're just about done. But yes, you can change the rows and the columns to, you can flip them and they'll still be the same. So this will be your guys' homework for today, all right? I posted a OneNote assignment for you right before class. So if you were able to do the assignment from yesterday and you can draw on here, then you are free to do so. But if you have any issues at all and it's not working, please just do it on a separate sheet of paper. Okay. I labeled on the homework assignment. Let's make sure someone's not on mute. I think it's Juan.
Mm-hmm.
I labeled it like this on the homework assignment, where I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you are drawing on a separate sheet of paper, because you're drawing rectangles here, if you're drawing on a separate sheet of paper, please note which one you're drawing. Note, okay, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4, 5. It helps me see what's going on a little bit easier. Okay, Abasai, do you have a quick question? Okay.
When is the homework due?
It will be due tomorrow, so Wednesday night at midnight. But I want you guys to start working on it right when we get done with class in a minute or two. Okay.
Okay.
Let me stop the recording real fast.